What's going on, YouTube? What's happening, guys? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels. I'm going to try to keep this video pretty short and sweet for you guys today because there's not a whole lot to say. But I get a lot of messages from a lot of you guys, as well as just kind of cold outreach emails from people who've seen a couple YouTube videos I did about high-risk merchant processing in general, but specifically high-risk merchant processing for the CBD industry. So in today's video, I wanted to throw out a potential person you might want to contact to get processing for CBD. And then also, if any of you guys are looking for a hustle, I guess this company is based in Europe. They're looking for partners in the US to help them resell high-risk merchant processing, but specifically for CBD. Now, I got an email from a gentleman by the name of Algiers. I haven't spoken with this guy. I haven't talked with him at all. I haven't even responded back to his email and gotten a response back. So I just want to throw that out there because I have not vetted this company. I have not vetted this individual. If you want to reach out to this guy, it would be totally on you to do kind of your own due diligence. I will say there's a lot of scams in the merchant processing space, and especially the high-risk merchant processing space. And let's talk about CBD merchant processing a little bit. So I'm actually in the process of rolling out a CBD store for a client, picking a theme, doing the whole design from the ground up. And payment processing has been the one holdup. It's probably been on hold for 6 months or a year, looking for a payment processor. A couple months ago, I was at IRCE in Chicago, and Authorize.net had a booth there, right? So I go over and talk to Authorize.net because they do some high-risk stuff. And they're like, look, we can't do it, but there's this guy out of Utah. I forget his name or the name of the company, but this is his name, this is his company, this is his phone number. Reach out to him. He is like the CBD guy. That's all he does. He's dedicated himself to be the CBD guy. Like, that's his main thing. And so about a couple days after IRCE, I reach out to him. I'm like, hey, I heard about you from Authorize. He's like, yeah, it's really hard to get CBD processing. I would just recommend you don't sell CBD. And he's trying to sell me processing for... This client of mine sells other products in kind of the high-risk space, like supplements and things like that. And he's trying to he's trying to get me to use their processing for other. And I'm like, look, man, the only reason I contacted you was for CBD. And he's like, you know, it's probably going to be like a 3-month wait. Chances are I'm not going to be able to get you in. I would consider, just not doing CBD. And I'm like, that's the whole reason I contacted you, man. So that just kind of illustrates how hard it is to get CBD processing. I come from the world of high-risk merchant processing, not selling it. But, I've run several businesses that were considered high risk. One of my businesses, we went 3 months without processing and could only take checks, and I tried the e-check thing for a while. Most people want to pay by credit card. Just didn't work that well. So anyhow, I guess, like I'm saying, not an affiliate thing, wasn't paid to recommend these guys. Do your own due diligence. I haven't checked them out. And let me say, part of the reason I'm doing this video, I got a backload of like 3,600 emails that I got to pump through, that I got to respond to. Also, whenever I see an article or something that seems interesting, I always email it to myself to make a video about it later or to look into it later. And so then I wind up with all of my own emails stacking on top of it. So I got a little bit of time. It's Saturday morning. A buddy of mine, my girlfriend, ran off to the weed dispensary to go pick up some stuff before we head to Medieval Times later today. Got a couple hours of myself. Going to start cranking through some content here. So you might expect to see a video or two every day for the next couple weeks, depending on how productive I am here today. But the other opportunity I potentially see here, it looks like they're looking for people in the U.S. who want to resell merchant processing, specifically in the CBD space. There is a lot of money in that. I've done pretty well doing affiliate marketing for high-risk merchant processing. The company who I actually used for probably about 5 years, they worked out an affiliate relationship with me where if I brought them new customers, they would give me $100 per sign up, which in the grand scheme of things is actually really low. A lot of people will give you, if you're willing to take an upfront fee as opposed to like lifetime payouts on the monthly merchant fees, I would say $600 to even a couple $1,000 is normal. I was just getting $100 because it was very hands-off. I was just like, here's who I use. If you want to use them, here's the guy's name. His name's Greg Danzig. The website is charge.com, but I use them. I like them. I never had any problems. I got same-day batch outs, but they're really not great at the CBD thing. So anyhow, here's the email I got. Good morning, good day, Johnny. How are you? My name is Algiers, and I am working with a high-risk processing industry, including CBD, and we also enter CBD markets as resellers, starting with Baltic countries and later on European countries for Latvian, Russian, Lithuanian, Estonian speaking customers. It's a side project we are working on. That's why I came across your YouTube video about 5 challenges you will face starting a CBD business. I'll try to put a card above or put the link down below if you haven't seen that one. It's an interesting video if you're in the CBD industry or thinking about getting into it. I see that merchants face difficulties with processing in banks around the world. In European situation is similar and only a few banks are open to this kind of business. We're looking for partners in the US, but with no success so far. Many seem to be interested in partnership but can't offer solution at the moment. And as for our US customers, we use European solution where customers has to open rep office in European country, usually at PSP. It can be done for as little as $1,000. This is how we serve customers in the US at the moment. And when I was doing offshore merchant processing for my business, this is what me and my partner did. I'm not sure why it works like this, but you have to open up like the equivalent of like an LLC or an Inc. over in Europe, so that you kind of have the base in Europe and then you can get European processing to use for your US customers. The one little hang up with doing that is pretty much 99.9% of transactions from US customers will be declined. Or at the very least, the customer will get a text message from their bank like, hey, it looks like you're trying to make a purchase from Latvia. Was this you? You can text back yes. They'll allow it to go through. And that's actually why I did the European thing. I also had a merchant processing account set up in Japan. And the problem was every time a customer tried to buy on my site, their bank would block the transaction. And if they actually followed up with me, I would have to be like, well, you know, we have a merchant processor in Japan. You have to call your bank, tell them it is you making the transaction. So it is kind of a headache. Maybe the system has gotten a little bit better since then. This was probably back 2014, 2015, and I was doing this. But we had to pay, I think we paid about $800 to like set up a business in Europe so that we could then get processing set up. Didn't really wind up using it, but you know, that is kind of how the process works. Also, we have another solution, but only for customers with over $1 million in monthly sales. In your video, you mentioned you had some process in the US, so I wanted to ask you some info if possible, like monthly turnover, processing percent in average for CBD at the moment. We have fees starting from 4.5% and can be decreased for bigger customers. Thank you in advance. So, I just wanted to kind of open this up to the community. I really don't have time right now to... don't have the time or necessarily really the interest to launch like a full-scale merchant processing reselling business. But if you are a CBD company looking for processing, or if you're interested in reselling high-risk processing, you might want to reach out to this guy. Like I said, I haven't spoken to him. I haven't vetted him. I'm just kind of sharing a cold email with you, trying to start going through emails. I feel like content that doesn't get made dies, so I want to take a couple hours this morning and just kind of start cranking out content. So, if you guys have any questions about merchant processing, reselling merchant processing, one resource I wanted to share with you guys, there's if this is something you're interested in, or if you're already in the processing industry, you probably already know about this guy. This guy, he sells courses and stuff, but he also puts out a lot of free content on YouTube. It's CC Sales Pro, and he's got like a ton of content out there offering advice and helping people improve their businesses reselling merchant processing. So I'll link to him. I will link to, it looks like this is actually the company of the guy who contacted me, and then his name is Igers Gaiba, info@cemento.biz. So like I said, do your own due diligence, but wanted to kind of share this potential opportunity with you guys. And if anybody has any questions about CBD processing or reselling processing, hit me up in the comments section below. I'd be happy to respond back and help. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll check you on the next one.